Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of writing linear equations. This is standard A.2C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 43 off the 2018 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we just have a graph here. We don't have any point given to us. We need to find an equation. And you notice that it is kind of like a slope-intercept form, but I still have a constant over here on the left side of the equation. So we're going to have to do a little bit of work because they've kind of factored it out of the right side of the equation, right? So let's see if we can find some points, and we're just going to have to visually see if we can find some points to where we're pretty sure that we know what those coordinates are. So that looks like we've got a pretty good y-intercept right there, right? So x 0, y of 5. So that's helpful because if we're thinking of our slope-intercept form, right, this b right here is my y-intercept, and this is always what happens when x is 0. Where does the line cross the y-axis? Well, it looks like if x is 0, y is 5. So that's helpful. Now, I don't necessarily see 5 over here in any of these, but remember, we've got to distribute out whatever they think the slope is. So it looks like I've got a point right here, and this is going to be 1, 2. And it looks like I actually have one up here, right? So -1, 8. And if I wanted to find another one, I mean, I'm looking pretty good, but it looks like I'm kind of down here. And hopefully you're noticing this pattern. I am starting to go down a little bit of a stair step here. And so hopefully you're noticing that we can actually kind of just visually see what our slope is. Now, we'll still calculate it. This is 3, -4. But hopefully you're noticing that what I'm doing is I'm going down 3 and over 1. Remember, our slope is rise over run. So what I'm doing here, and let's calculate it this way, m equals rise over 1. That's a change in y over the change in x. So the y is what rises, the x is what runs. So we can choose any 2 points. I'm just going to use this one and this one. When in doubt, always use the smallest digits, and if there's ever a 0, definitely use that one. So let's just label them, though, to make sure we've got them correct. That's going to be my y1, my x1. That's going to be my y2 and my x2. So that's going to be 2 minus 5, 1 minus 0. Gotta love that. So my denominator is just going to be 1. So -3 over 1 equals -3, which is very much in line with what we saw. So remember, rise over run, so change in y. So every time I would move down 3, and then I would move over +1. And I would go down 3, +1. So it's a -3 slope because I'm moving down 3 and over 1. All right, so y equals -3x, right? If I'm going to use my slope right here is my -3. I could plug in some numbers, but look, we've already plotted 0, 5. So let's just put +5. So there's my answer. Now, we're not going to necessarily find this answer here, but we can eliminate C and D, because look, those two have a +3 slope. Even when you distribute this out, it's going to end up being a +3. Remember, I need a -3. So let's see what happens with A and B when you distribute them out. So A is y plus 7 equals, distribute this out, -3x, and that's going to end up being a +12 because it's 2 negatives. Subtract 7 from both sides, y equals -3x plus 5. And there we go. That looks good. If you try this one right here, notice you'll distribute it out, but it doesn't quite work. Answer's A.